It's Ron Goodall from FightHype.com. I'm here with Joey Spencer. How's it going?
Real good, yeah.
First and foremost, congratulations on your wedding.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's awesome.
And seeing the fact that, you had a great last year.
Yeah.
You were Prospect of the Year previous, and you just won Prospect of the Year this year. That's two times. Two times. How does it feel going into this year and then already getting a big fight, on a card like this?
Yeah, it's always nice to start off the year right in January, get a quick start to the year, and this is a great card to be on. It's a good opponent. He's a tall, lanky fighter, southpaw, so I've got a slight challenge there, and I'm just looking forward to going there and dissecting the situation and seeing what I got to do in there and figuring it all out. And then we had a great year last year, so I'm trying to top this year. I really want to go in there this year and make my claim that I'm a contender by the end of the year, and stay on track to be in title contention by 2021. So that's what I'd like to do, and that's what I'm working hard to do.
Now, has there been anything different in training camp recently, since last time I talked to you? Any changes? Anything added?
Not much of a change in training, but we are just taking it to the next level. You always progress and make your body evolve to the next, we're moving up, so it's 6 to 8 to 10 to 12, so I got to make sure my body is ready for that transition. So we're working hard, and last camp we really found a good recipe to have myself in tip-top shape and peaked for the fight. I went into my last fight feeling fantastic, got the weight cut right, got the, just the different things you got to figure out as a pro. I really feel like we got it figured out, and so now we have the recipe, we're sticking to it, and I'm looking forward to going out there and putting on a really good performance.
We had a couple in-depth conversations about what's the difference from like fighting in amateurs or even sparring, and even having to adjust to the lights, perform in front of the TV. Have you kind of became more comfortable, or is that something still like you're still learning every fight how to just adjust to it, seeing the fact that it is a little different, you got more eyes on you?
You're always learning, but I definitely feel like I've come to a place where I'm not worried about the skeptics. I'm not worried about the people who are watching me and have high expectations for me. I kind of touched on it when I was up there on stage. If I worry about all the thousands of people that are watching on YouTube and watching on TV, and I'm thinking about each and every one of them, how can that not affect my performance? I'm looking and thinking about all these people, and that's why pressure builds and it mounts and it affects performance, because you can't be in the ring thinking about what's outside the ring, and when there's so much outside the ring and you're actually focused on that instead of who's in front of you, that's when you get tight, that's when you get hit, that's when things get ugly, you fatigue faster, things like that. I've really just come to a place where I'm not worried whatsoever about what people are thinking outside the ring, what all the experts on the channels are saying about the future of my career, because one thing's for sure is that fight fans have proven a million times they don't know what they're talking about, you know what I mean? If they did know what they were talking about, J-Rock never would have won a world championship.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I can name a dozen different examples of why fight fans are morons, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I love the fans. I'm talking about the haters, you know what I mean? And instead of the haters supporting fighters, getting behind fighters, especially American fighters, and appreciating the fact that there's people who get in there and do that, they hate on it. So I should rephrase that. The fight fans are we wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for you, but the haters, we can do without them, you know what I mean?
So with that, does the haters sometimes like motivate you, when you get those type of people who...
They definitely did, I'd say the haters motivated me to put in about extra hours, extra days of work all 2019, you know what I mean? I'm sure that's probably the main thing at first that made me push past maybe some of my, harder fights and stuff like that, and get right back in the gym and push further and stronger and evolve into the next level. But I wouldn't say they motivate me now. I'd say the only thing that motivates me is getting the title and performing for my team, who's dedicated everything to me. All I want to do is get in there and show out. I'm not really worried about what people are thinking outside the ring.
You mentioned by the end of this year that you wanted to transition into what would be a contender from a prospect. How many fights do you see yourself fighting this year? You had a very active last year and previously before that. Is it going to be something like that you see yourself fighting maybe 4 or 5 times this year, or not sure?
I see myself fighting probably 4 times this year. You know what I mean? Probably see myself fighting 4 to 5. You know, depending on the opportunity. Last year I fought 4, so 4 is a good year. You know, I think 4 puts me where I'm supposed to be next year. 4 gives me a chance to move up to 8 rounds and then move up to 10 by the end of the year, and that's my plan. I want to be at 10 rounders by the end of the year.
And you know, by the end of this year, you're probably looking at maybe like former title challengers or former champ. Is that kind of what the direction's heading towards?
Yeah, so we'll definitely be in that direction. And probably my first fight of 2021, I want a real like former champ contender type fight to set me up, because 2021, the way that I see, you know, that my plans are and my goals and what I'm working towards, like I said, be at 10 rounders by the end of the year. Hopefully a homecoming fight in Michigan. And then in 2021, kind of have a similar year to this year, but as a contender. And then by the end of 2021, hopefully get a title shot. And if I can't secure a title shot, just depending on where all the titles are at and who's got what to do, because you know people have mandatories and stuff like that. Then hopefully, very beginning of 2022, I'll be like right there, ready to fight for one of the titles.
And you know, you got a lot of compliments up there from your family dynamics, and I have to ask, because you know your brother is someone that you're mentoring. You know, he's watching you in the professional league and taking notes and stuff. How's your brother doing? And you know, essentially, you guys would be like gym partners, I would say.
Yeah, he's my training partner. We actually did a lot of rounds for the first time in this camp. Yeah, like he just got big enough and he's super sharp. So whenever I needed to kind of take a day that wasn't full-on sparring, but I'm fighting a southpaw and he's a southpaw, so we would go just like 30, 40 straight minutes of tech sparring and movement, but it was real sparring. Like it was great workout. We were just pulling our punches slightly, and it was fantastic. I mean, I really got probably my best southpaw like training camp as a result of him being there. And then I'd move in with my other sparring partners on the days that I was full on sparring and take the stuff that we worked on and put it into the sparring sessions, and it was just a great asset.
Now you mentioned that the pressure that these accolades and awards and critics doesn't get to you, but does making sure that your brother has a good mentor and someone to follow, is that the real pressure that you have maybe?
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely pressure for that. You know, it's important to me that it's a great question you just asked, because when I'm thinking about maybe screwing off or not being in the gym or whatever, or whenever I have in the past, it's like, nope, I gotta get in the gym, stay in the gym, because my brother's gonna be watching me. And I know this is a serious sport, and I know you can lose your life in this sport. So when I take it serious all the time, but even when I don't want to, I still do, because I know he's watching me and he's gonna come behind me and be a pro. And I don't ever want him thinking that's okay. He needs to see an example of somebody who keeps his weight down, stays in the gym, stays disciplined, isn't out running around partying, you know, because I know it's a serious sport. So we both got to be sharp that way.
I'm very excited to see your fight coming up Saturday. I know you love talking boxing, so I wanted to kind of, you know, get some of your insight and break down some analytical things. We got the Fury Wilder rematch coming up. Any takes, predictions on this, you know?
Oh my goodness, man. I mean, I got to go with the American. You know, I hope he can secure the knockout in this fight. Fury is also one of my favorite fighters, though. But just purely from a patriotic side, you know, I got to pick Deontay Wilder and hope that he can pull it off. But something tells me Fury's going to come in even better this time. So I think Wilder's going to have to raise his game if he wants to get that knockout and work the body a little bit more and set the shots up. Because last time I think he knows that all he's got to do is land one shot. And I think in the Ortiz fight, I think we really saw him set up a good right hand. And even though he was getting caught at the beginning, he fought a smart fight and wasn't just launching shots. I think he's got to be similar in this fight. He can't just go out there, you know, playing into Fury's game plan, because going in there just throwing big 1-2s and 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, following him, you know, and throwing his big shots every shot, that just plays into Fury's game. He's mastered defense, and he's just going to make you miss and make you pay. And he ended up getting caught a couple times, but if you notice in the fight, it was always a well set up shot that he did hit him with. You know, so I think he's got to maintain himself a little bit more and come in there and set up his big right hand, and if he can do that, then he's going to win, because all it takes is one with him.
And this might be a new one right here, looking at this year. Someone you came on amateurs with, Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
Vasil Lomachenko looks like the undisputed fight.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a breakdown for that fight, you know, at that division amongst those two guys?
I think that
Take your time, I know.
so the experts on the page, like I said, aren't gonna probably agree or like what I'm saying, but I honestly think Lopez is Lomachenko's best opponent in a good amount of opponents. You know, like as far as how many. So who's Lomachenko fought since he fought Linares?
He fought Crolla, Luke Campbell.
Okay, so is that his last three?
Luke Campbell, Crolla, and then I'm losing one. I know
that too, but just look at that 3 opponents. Linares, Crolla, and whatever is. I don't even know these guys' names, you know. Most boxing fans don't. I watched all those fights. Luke Campbell gave him problems. I don't think Luke Campbell would have given Teofimo as many problems as he gave Lomachenko. And Lomachenko looked fantastic.
Oh, Pedraza. That's what it was.
Pedraza. Right.
Yep, Pedraza.
Tank absolutely destroyed. You know what I mean? And nobody hates on. I mean, everybody. No one gets hated on more than Tank, right? But Tank destroyed Pedraza. You know what I mean? Look at he gave Lomachenko a heck of a fight. Had him all bruised up. You know, got dropped twice, went the distance, but it gave him a great fight. At the end of the day, Lomachenko, when it comes down to, he's extremely disciplined and dedicated, and he's getting a little older. So I think he's slowing down a little bit, and it's the perfect time for Teofimo to come in and get this fight. That doesn't mean I think Teofimo is going to win necessarily, because I think it's a toss-up. All I'm saying is Teofimo is a better fighter than Lomachenko's fought in several fights. So that says something. You know, it's that might make Lomachenko rise to the occasion, because maybe that's why. Because sometimes it's hard to look great when you're not fighting somebody super great, because it's hard to get mentally ready for a fighter that you're more confident against. But and maybe he'll rise to it because he knows Teofimo's a talented young guy. But if he's actually just slipping a little bit, you know, if he's actually just getting a little older, then Teofimo might have a shot to do some damage in this fight.
Now my last one of your favorite fighters, Canelo Alvarez. It's not official, but there's been talks about a Billy Joe Sanders fight. So if that happened to materialize, how would you break down Canelo, Billy Joe Sanders?
I think Billy Joe Sanders would get up on his bike and be moving quite a bit. Canelo would have to walk him down, but I think he would catch him fairly easily by the end of the fight. And he would end up beating him up pretty bad. I think he's on I think there's levels to this, and I think Canelo is just on a whole nother level than Billy Joe. Just athletically and physically, as a man, he's just more man than him, you know. And I think he's also just way better technically too. You know, Billy Joe Sanders is a very technical fighter from a boxing standpoint. He's a good boxer, but I think Canelo's better school, probably has a better ring IQ, and will be able to. And he's confident. You know, once you get to a certain level, I think Canelo just beat Sergey Kovalev. I don't think he feels like Billy Joe Sanders is much of a problem for him. So, but the real fight in that division, I think, is Andre and Canelo. That's a good fight.
How do you think that fight goes?
It's pretty similar, but I think Andre's a little bit better athletically. So it'll be the Billy Joe Sanders fight, but it'll be similar to the Lara fight, I think. But Andre's bigger and just physically bigger than Lara. So, but Canelo's bigger now too. So it's going to be a similar fight, and I think that it's really just Canelo's learned since then. Andre's going to have that fight to look at, I think, and do better, because Lara could have probably done even more than he did if he would have known that the fight was so close. So, toss-up, man. I wouldn't say toss-up. I'd give the slight edge to Canelo, but it's a toss-up.
So, of course, before I let you go, I gotta ask, where everyone can get your apparel? I know that you got your clothing line, and any last messages to your fans?
The apparel, JS Apparel, is at fitwarriorapparel.com, and you just go to the Joey Spencer link, and all my stuff is there, all my fight gear. And then also just tune in on Saturday night. I've worked really hard for this fight, and to all my true fans and supporters and boxing fans, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and put on a good show.
Awesome. Appreciate it.